up guys, my name is Aaron. Today I'm going to be reviewing It Comes at Night. This is a psychological thriller directed by Trey Edward Shults, and the movie stars Joel Edgerton. It's basically about this family that trapped themselves in this cabin in the woods because of an unexplained phenomenon that's coming around the United States or something. It's turning people sick, and that's really all they're saying. And then this man kind of stumbles upon them in their cabin, and then they try to figure out what to do with him, and then eventually his whole family comes up. It's just really like a thriller based on this premise, like what would you do if you're in this situation. When I saw the trailers for this movie, I was in. Like, I didn't really look at any other trailers. I would definitely kind of follow that in vain. If you're going to watch this movie, just watch like the teaser trailer and you'll pretty much either be in or out for this movie. But really, I really love Joel Edgerton. He's one of my favorite actors, and if he's in a movie, I think that's probably like a good stamp of approval for me. He's a really good picker of roles and stuff, and even if the movie's not that great, he's usually really watchable and stuff and makes the movie watchable. So I was really in just because Joel Edgerton is just a really good actor. I think this movie might make a lot of people mad because if you watch the trailers, you would probably expect like a horror movie. But I don't think it's really like that. It's really more of like a psychological thriller. So I would definitely temper your expectations if that's what you're expecting when you go into this movie. Definitely the best part of this movie is definitely the atmosphere of the movie. It really does put you in the situation with the way that it's shot, the camera angles, the way that the camera is placed in certain scenes. Just all the space that's around them. They're like in this cabin in the woods, and you're just surrounded by trees and stuff. Like, all of the sound design is really well done because it's just really startlingly quiet. Whenever something kind of major happens, like a gunshot or something like that, you really feel that tenseness of that scene and stuff like that. And like the way that it's shot too is really good. Like, it really kind of shows that anxiety and stuff of the characters. Like, I like the scene in the movie where like they were in a car and then the camera just kind of slowly moves around, like going to the bed of the truck and then moving around to the driver's side and then moving to the street. And then I just loved like all of like the fluid motions in one take of that. It really does a really good job of putting you in the situation of the characters, and it really does like visual storytelling without kind of over telling what's happening in the scene. Like, there's not like a lot of exposition in this movie. So I also love how they like throw you into the movie too. Like, you don't know what's really going on, just like the characters. Like, you're just picking up little details and stuff that's happening while you're watching it, and I kind of like that. I like post-apocalyptic movies, and this is kind of like that. It's not to the point of like Mad Max or something like that. It really gets you thinking about like what you would do in this situation. How far would you go to like save your family and stuff like that. That's like the kind of like the message of the movie, just like what would you do to save your family in this situation. And it really does go into great detail about that, and I think that it raises a lot of questions and stuff that makes you think. The acting is also really well done. Like, everybody is really on point in this movie. Of course, Joel Edgerton is probably a standout of the movie. He's like a really subtle actor to me. Like, even though he's kind of has this like big imposing like physical presence just because of how big he is, he usually comes across like really subtle. You can really tell what his like inner dialogue is trying to say just based off his like body language and just kind of like the facial expression that he has in his face. It really tells a lot about his character and like what type of inner monologue is going on in his head. And I thought that he did a really good job kind of being like the protector of this family while like also kind of being like a slightly unhinged type of person. He really pulls that off really well, and I don't know like a lot of actors that can kind of play this really specific type of role. I think he did a really great job with this movie. But I think the actor that's probably going to resonate with a lot more people is probably the son, Travis, who's played by Kelvin Harrison Jr. He's kind of like the audience surrogate in this movie. He's like the teenage son that's trapped with his parents and stuff. He has an interesting arc in this movie, and I think that he's pretty much like the audience surrogate, kind of like how Riley Keough was in Get Out. His face is really expressive with the scenes that he's doing, and he's expected to do like kind of like a lot in this movie, just with just his face alone. And I thought that he pulled that off really well, and I think he's definitely an actor to look out for in the future. There's like, this is a small thing. I thought the aspect ratio was a really well done trick that the movie did, like kind of widening a little bit while you're in like these nightmare dream sequence and then going back to full screen during like the normal moment. I thought that was really well done and really kept you on the edge of your seat while you're watching the movie. I think probably a major problem for a lot of people is definitely going to be the ambiguity of the movie. They don't really explain a lot of things that's happening in this situation. They really just kind of throw you into the situation. So if you're the type of person that really likes like something to be explained to you, this probably isn't going to be the best movie for you. you, but I kind of like that ambiguity, and that was a really cool touch to me because I'm really just imagining what I would do in that situation. So I thought that was a really cool touch. But yeah, overall, I really did love this movie. This is probably in my top 5 of the year so far. I thought it was really well shot, just the way the camera angles and stuff were really utilized really well. You can really tell that the director really put a lot of thought and effort into that aspect of the movie. I thought that the overall plot, like the premise, is really interesting, like kind of being in this apocalyptic world but not knowing if it's for sure like who to trust and stuff like that. That's really more of like the core of the movie, like how far would you go to save your family in a situation like this. And I thought that was a really interesting touch. And I also thought that the acting is really solid, standouts being Joel Edgerton and Kelvin Harrison Jr. But yeah, overall I'll give this an 8 out of 10. Definitely probably my top 5 of the year, probably with like The Lost City of Z, Raw, Get Out, and Song to Song. I probably think that these 5 are probably my top 5 of the year. This is definitely a really strong movie. Again, I reiterate, this is not for everybody. If you really like concrete answers in your movies and stuff, I really wouldn't recommend this to you. But if you do like more like ambiguous plotting and stuff, I would recommend this because this is really interesting in my opinion. So yeah, those are my thoughts on It Comes at Night. What did you guys think? Did you like the movie? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments what you thought, and thanks for watching. Thanks guys. Bye.